Any questions on what we spoke yesterday?
No.
No, all good. Okay. So, yeah. So this is what we spoke about yesterday, right?
Yes.
Uh, no questions here. So now let's move on to the Agile Manifesto. Have you seen Agile Manifesto?
No. Oh,
No.
yesterday I think you went through some, yeah, roughly.
Oh, Agile Manifesto, is
The,
it?
the 12 the 12 manifesto, right? Or something.
Yeah, 12 values, four values and 12 principles.
Yes, yes. You
Oh,
said a little bit yesterday, but we didn't go through it.
okay, okay. Let me share that. I just pin that link in the chat window. The link for your reference. But let's go through it, try to understand it. So basically, there are four values. There are four values and 12 principles in Agile. There are 12 principles which is defined here. But for you, no, for interview purpose, you need not by heart the 12 principles, but you have to by heart the four values. You should have these four values on tip of your tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. The first value is individuals and interactions over process and tools. What do you mean by that? That means, look, you might have a lot of processes in place. You might be following a lot of tools. Different organizations follow different process or tools, right? But
Mm-hmm.
here, what you're saying is, hey, look, keep that process and tools aside and give more importance to individuals and interactions. Meaning, talk to your customers more. Give more importance to your customers. Try to understand what they're looking for. Interact more with them, right? Rather than sticking to the process saying that you know, assume your process is interact with the customer once in 2 weeks, right? So don't worry about that. Keep it aside. Whenever you need, talk to the customer. Interact with the customer as often as possible. Okay,
Okay.
that's individuals and interactions of process and tools. Working software over comprehensive documentation. What is comprehensive documentation? Documentation or detailed documentation. See, as a product owner or business analyst, that person will be documenting the requirements for the product, but software. But but the customer will not worry about the documentation. Customer says, "Hey, I don't care about the documentation. You give me the software that is working. Let's think about the documentation later, right?" So
Mm-hmm.
comprehensive documentation, like assume the customer gives you the requirements. Tell that hey, no, develop a website for me like Amazon, where one can register, one can log in, purchase stuff, track order and things, right? Now assume the customer gives those requirements and go back. After 2 months, he comes back and asks, "Where are we on the development?" That point, you cannot say that, "Hey, in these 2 months we were documenting things, we were detailing out the documentation. We'll start the development now." No, the customer will say, "No, why? I don't work. I don't care about documentation. Show me something that is working. At least in these 2 months, if you have developed at least a registration page, the customer will be happy to see that,
Mm-hmm.
right?" So that is working software or comprehensive documentation. Are you getting the points? The first 2 points,
Yeah.
are is it clear?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, fine. The third one is customer collaboration or contract negotiation. See, every project will have a contract in place. Yeah, every project will have a contract in place, right? So no doubt in that. But customer collaboration is more important. What do you mean by that? That means no. Just give me 1 minute. That means that you know. Assume Your requirements, your contract says as part of registration, we should have a couple of tactics like, your contract says, okay, when a new user comes to Amazon, this user should be able to register by creating their own username and password. Okay, that is a requirement that is documented in the contract. But now the customer comes back and says, you know what, it is very tough for the users to remember the username and password. Okay, now can you can you give a mechanism where the user can register directly using their Google account or Facebook account,
Okay.
right? But that's not there in contract. You cannot upfront say that, no, it's not there in contract, we will not do it. So how you have to put this across is, you have to say, sure, we'll do it. You have to talk to the customer, tell that, okay, we'll do it, but we'll do it only if the budget is increased. It takes extra money of so much.
Mm-hmm.
We need extra budget of so much, or we need extra time of 15 days. If you're okay with that, we'll do it. Or you descope something else, meaning remove something else, we'll do this. This is a priority, right? So
Mm.
that's how you collaborate with the customers. That's how you collaborate with the customers. Make sense?
Okay.
Any questions here?
No.
Okay. The next one is responding to change over following a plan. Like, see, everyone has a plan in place. Absolutely. Right? But as and when change is needed, you have to respond to the change. Like, what am I trying to say? Like, take for example COVID, right? When COVID came in, we all responded to that. We all responded to the change. We all change the way that we work, change the way we commute to office, change the way we talk to people, change the way the meetings happens, everything, right? So you had to respond to the change. But that was not in your plan, correct? On similar lines, take for example, you uh, yeah, assume you are building a mobile app for CNN News. Okay, you're building a mobile app for CNN News. Now, you plan to have various sections like political news, sports news, breaking news, economic news, and all. But all of a sudden, COVID came in. Everyone is looking for COVID related news. Everyone is looking for COVID related news. So that's the need of the hour. If you're not doing it, others will do it, and people will uninstall your app, and maybe people will install your Fox News app, right? So you have to build that requirement. You have to respond to that change, and take that requirement and build it. Otherwise, your product will fall behind, right? So we have to respond to change as and when needed, rather than sticking to the plan. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions on the four values?
No.
No. Okay. Sure. Now, just give me a minute. Now, you see the last statement. Well, there is value the items on the right.
Mm-hmm.
We value the items on the left more. Meaning, the items on the right, process and tools, documentation, contract, plan. See, all these things have value. We are not telling totally ignore it. But what we are trying to say is, when compared to this, give more importance to the items on the left. When compared to process and tools, give more importance to individuals and interactions.
Mm-hmm.
When compared to detailed documentation, give more importance to working software. When compared to contract, give more importance to customer. When compared to a detailed plan, give more importance to responding to change. Okay, this is
Mm-hmm.
what we are trying to say. Okay, it's about more prioritizing, right? So don't worry too much about documentation, but I'm not telling don't. I'm not telling ignore documentation completely. You should not ignore documentation completely, but focus more on working software. We should not ignore contract completely, but collaborate more with the customer. We should not no. We should not ignore the plan, but we have to respond to the change. Making sense?
Mm-hmm.
Any further questions on this?
No, not yet.
Yeah, I hope you are getting it. At any point, if you feel that you're not getting it, just stop me, okay?
Okay.
Next is let's try to understand the 12 principles. The 12 principles, you need not by heart this. And these 12 principles are mostly derived out of the four values that we discussed. These are the derivatives of the four values that we discussed. So, like take for example the first one. Our highest priority is to satisfy the customer. How? Through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. Our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. Right? At any point in time, customer satisfaction is the most important thing. Right? And how can you satisfy customers? You can satisfy a customer when you are able to deliver things which is giving value to the customer. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously, if you're delivering early, that is even better. Make sense? First point.
Mm-hmm.
Second point is welcome changing requirements. Right? Even late in development, agile process harness change for the customer's competitive advantage. Meaning, if a, if our if a customer wants to stay competitive in the market, we should welcome any kind of requirement change that is coming. Otherwise, our customers will fall behind in terms of competition in the market. Right? We should welcome any change in requirements. Like as I told earlier, adding of a COVID section. Right? We have to welcome that change. Otherwise, people will uninstall, uh, your app and install some other app. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Third one is deliver working software frequently from couple of weeks to couple of months with preference to shorter time scale. What do you mean by that? That means you have to deliver working software very frequently, like every 2 weeks once or so, right? Every 2 weeks once, you have to deliver something. Not couple of months also. Couple of weeks or maximum a month. The shorter the time scale, the better it is. So the frequently that you deliver, the more happier the customer will be. Next is business people and developers must work together throughout the project. Who are the business people here? The business people here are business analyst or the product owner, right? Because the developers they might not have access to the customers or business people directly, but for them the go-to person is the product owner or the business analyst. So they should work very closely with the business analyst or the product owner. And if the business analyst or the product owner doesn't have an answer, it's his or her responsibility to go back and get an answer for the questions that they have. Okay, makes sense.
Yes.
Any questions on the first 4 points? Any questions on the first 4 points?
No.
No? Okay. So, mm, next is build projects around motivated individuals. Give them the environment and support they need, and trust them to get the job done. What does that mean? This means you as a Scrum Master, you have to keep your team motivated. You have to keep your team motivated, and you have to give all the good work environment. Give them the good work environment and all the support they need. Whatever support they need, give them the support, and you should trust them to get the job done. Basically, you should not do the micromanagement. You should not micromanage people. You should make sure you're trusting them, but make sure you're keeping them motivated and trust them, and give all the support that they need.
Okay.
And The most efficient and more effective method of conveying information is the most efficient and effective method of conveying information is face-to-face conversations. Right? So try to have face-to-face conversations as much as possible. I know, post-pandemic it is tough. The dynamics have changed. The dynamics have changed, but as much as possible, try to have face-to-face conversations because the no we might speak so much, but then that when you see the person's face, you can connect sooner, faster, right? So that's the most efficient and effective method of conveying information. Try to have face-to-face conversation. Okay,
Okay.
and then working software is a primary measure of progress. Working software is a primary measure of progress. What does that mean? Like for example, when can you say your project is 30% complete? You can say your project is 30% complete when you have 30% of the functionalities developed. Correct? You cannot say
Right.
30% of the project is complete because you have done the documentation or requirements gathering, right? So requirements gathering and all are not considered. So only the working software is a primary measure of progress, nothing else. Okay.
Okay.
Then agile process promotes sustainable development. The sponsors, development users should be able to maintain a constant pace indefinitely. What does that mean? That means the development that's happening, it should go at a good pace. It should go at a constant pace. It cannot be like okay, you deliver two functionalities this week, two functionalities next week, but all of a sudden for 4 to 5 weeks you don't deliver any functionalities. Then the customer will be like, hey, what's happening? There are no functionalities delivered, right? That should not happen. So the functionalities has to be delivered at a constant pace, and make sure uh, there is no gaps. What do you mean by that? That means you cannot stop delivery suddenly for a month. The customers will be lost. They'll be like, what's happening? We're not getting any delivery, right? The delivery should happen constantly.
Okay.
Next is continuous attention to technical excellence and good design and accessibility. This means, see, the team should focus continuously on the technical aspects of the project, like a new technology that's there, and new designs that is there, right? They should keep they should keep updating or upgrading to the latest technology. They cannot stick to the old technology and survive forever, right? So we have to give continuous attention to the technical aspects of the project also. I know as a Scrum Master, it's not your responsibility, but this is for the overall team itself. Okay, make sense?
Okay.
Any questions so far?
No, sir.
Okay, okay, just give me 1 minute. Now let me open a notepad for the next point. The next point is simplicity. The art of maximizing the amount of work not done is essential. Now, what does it mean? That means that assume you have assume you have task A. Task A. This week, this takes 5 days of effort to complete. And if you do this task A, it means 20% of the project is complete. Then now, assume you have task B. This takes 15 days to complete. And it contributes 50% to the project. Which one would you prioritize among these two? Which one would you prioritize among these two?
The 5 days 20% or the 15 days to 50%?
Yes, among these two, if I say
Uh,
you
five,
have to pick,
5 days 20% because at least we are delivering frequently.
yeah, and also
Yeah.
if you see contribution wise also it's 20%. Just in 5 days
Yeah.
you're getting 20%,
Yeah.
right?
And
So
15 days
yeah,
we can just.
definitely. Yeah, we need to prioritize the task. So take the simple ones which is giving maximum output first.
Mm,
Make sense?
okay.
The best architecture, requirements, and design emerge from self-organizing teams. What is a self-organizing team? A self-organizing team is a team who is able to organize things among themselves, even without Scrum Master, even without architects or even without BS. Meaning, over a period of time, the team should get mature and they should be able to organize things among themselves. They should be able to take decisions on architecture. They should be able to take decisions on requirements also.
Okay.
Okay. The next one is at regular intervals, the team reflects on how to how to become more effective, how to become more effective, then tunes and adjusts its behavior accordingly. What does that mean? That means every 2 weeks, once assume the team will discuss on, hey, this 2 weeks, in the past 2 weeks, what went well, what did not go well, where we can improve. The team will discuss on this.
Mm-hmm.
What went well, like for example, assume the team bonding was really good. That we'll put it in what went well, right? And continue to do that. What went wrong? Maybe the requirements were not clear enough. The BA had not given clear requirements, so that went wrong. And where we can improve, definitely the requirements itself can be more clearer and more detailed. That can be what where we can improve. So we'll try to inspect and adopt and try to improve ourselves sprint on sprint. This happens over something called as retrospective meeting. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll discuss about this in detail in the upcoming slides also. But any
Okay.
questions on the 12 principles?
No,
Uh,
my only thing is
uh,
my the only questions that I have is the four values and the 12 principles that we have studied. Do I have to remember all this by heart, or is it
uh,
just to understand?
Ju- Four values you have to by heart. You have to remember by heart. But 12
Okay.
principles you need not.
Okay. All right.
12,
All right. Thank
12 principles you need not, but four values, yes,
you.
you
Okay.
have to by heart. Okay.
All right.
Any other questions?
No.
No. Okay. Okay. Sure. Now we will move on to next thing. The next thing is about um, let me come back to this slide. Trying to understand what are the various variations that are there in Agile. See, when you say Agile, Agile is not just Scrum, right? Agile means not just Scrum. In Agile, there are various other things also, like something called as Lean Software Development, also called as MVP. We have something called as Kanban. We have something called as Extreme Programming, where we have pair programming and test-driven development, and also we have something called as feature-driven development. Okay, so these are various variations that are there in Agile. Let me know if it's too much for today. We can stop, or if you want to continue, we can continue.
Yeah, I'm fine. We can continue later more.
Get it more. Okay, sure. So, Ajay, Scrum methodology itself, I'll cover this in detail later. For now, I'll
Okay.
not cover this. Okay,
All
but
right.
let's start with Lean Software Development. What is Lean Software Development? Or have you heard of something called as MVP, Minimum Viable Product?
No. Now I
No,
know. Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not heard of it. Yeah. So, minimum viable product or MVP, Lean Software Development, it is nothing but a concept where, no, it is nothing but a concept where you want to build something with minimum effort in minimum time, you know, minimum effort, minimum time, so that you try to understand from the customers if they are really liking it or not, and then add more features, right? Take for example, I'll tell you, uh, WhatsApp.
Uh,
Sorry,
right.
was there a question?
No, 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 no. I was just coughing. Sorry.
Okay, okay. Take for example, WhatsApp.
Okay.
When WhatsApp first came, uh, it had a basic features like chat feature or
Okay.
one or two more features, nothing more. It did not have all the status feature, audio calling, video calling, and all, right. So
Mm-hmm.
it had basic features. Now, if WhatsApp would have thought of adding all those features, it would have taken a long time for them to, excuse me, develop.
Right.
right? It would have taken a long time. And at the same time, we also don't know if the customers would accept that product or not. Users will accept that product also not, or not, right? So
Mhm.
what they did, they just came up with a basic feature, minimum chat feature, minimum chat feature, which was developed very quickly, maybe in a few months, rolled out to the customers, understood from the customers what else they are looking for, and then give more features. That way, they spent minimum time, minimum effort, and and then try to understand from the customers what else they're looking for, and then added more features, right?
Yes.
Because if they have added everything at once, and then if the customers would have not accepted, then it would have been it would have been a flop, right?
Mm.
So that is lean software development, where we are trying to develop something minimum and minimum with minimum time and effort, okay, and then add more features. Let me open Google and show you something. Just give me 1 minute. So this for MVP. Okay, so I search for MVP. I search for images. Yeah, if you see here, yeah, this image. In this, how not to build MVP, minimum viable product. Now, this is not an MVP because your product is not sellable. Just with one tier or this, you cannot sell the product. You have to wait until this is done. It's not sellable until this point. Here, it's sellable from point one, but the point is, all these are totally different products.
Yes.
But here, you're giving a minimum car, adding more features, then add more features, then add more features. You are able to sell the same product from start and then gradually add features. Gradually add features, right?
Hmm.
Makes sense? Makes sense? Understood what is MVP?
Right. Right.
Okay, cool. Next is any questions on MVP?
No. Yeah, I think I got the concept. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Sure. Now, uh, next let's try to understand Kanban. Have you heard of Kanban?
No.
No. Okay. Okay, Kanban board. No, usually in in industries, in industries and all, right? How do they track things? Like take for example a factory or things where there are multiple departments
Mm.
where things have to go from one department to the other department. How do they track things? So here, assume this as a list of things that has to be done. Okay, take a car manufacturing itself. Assume they first assemble the tires, then move it to the next department, and then there they assemble the steering. Then they move it to the next department. They assemble the outer body, move it to the next department. They painting is taken care, move to the next department. So on, right? It moves on until the dispatch to the showroom. Now that physical board where you track how the progress is happening step by step is called as Kanban board. That's where it started. But now we have a digital board also. We have a digital board. When we do the project, I'll show you that how it works. When we do the project, I'll show you how it works. But we have in a digital board, we see how the development happens. Okay, requirements are in place. We say okay, engineering ready, meaning it is ready for development. Once the development is complete, we pass it on to testing. Okay, once the testing is complete, then release. Okay, right? That's how it works. So that that physical you know thing is known as Kanban. Physical tracking is known as Kanban. Make sense?
Okay.
Any questions, sir?
No, not yet.
Okay. Now what's the next thing? Okay. Next is there's something called as extreme programming. See, for you as a Scrum Master, nothing changes here. But the way the development happens here is what changes. Extreme programming is a concept where you have something called as pair programming or test-driven development. Pair programming is a concept where two developers sit together and they work on the same piece of code. Meaning,
Mhm.
one monitor, both look at the same monitor and work on the same piece of code. What does it mean? It means one will be acting like a navigator, the other would be acting like a driver. Basically, the intention here is, see, instead of two eyes, if you have four eyes, you will be the number of errors or the number of mistakes that we do would be very less,
Mhm.
right? So the
Yeah.
point here is we are trying to we are trying to make a perfect product. We are trying to make a perfect product, and with very less bugs. That's the whole intention here. Okay, that's pair programming. The next is test driven development. Is a concept where first we get the test cases from the testing team, keeping the test cases as a reference. The development is done. Okay, this is extreme programming. For you as a Scrum Master, nothing to worry. It is more of the development thing, how
Okay.
development is done. Okay,
All right.
and then feature driven development. Feature driven development is a concept where we focus on one feature at a time. Like for example, take registration feature. We complete that feature end to end. Make sure everything is working fine. Only then we jump into the next feature. Until that feature is complete, we will not work on the next feature. Basically, we don't want to work on multiple features at a time. We work on
Okay.
only one feature at a time.
All right.
Okay, makes sense. Any questions?
No, not.
Okay. So these are the few variations in agile principles, but we are more focused only on Scrum. I have not touched on Scrum yet. We'll talk about Scrum. We'll talk about Scrum in detail starting next class. That is starting Monday. That's it.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So what time are we meeting on Monday?
Monday. What's the time there now? Today, what time did we start?
At 6:30 today.
Okay, 6:30.
Mountain.
Does 4:30 work for you?
On what, on Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do 4:30 on Monday.
Okay, cool. Let's meet at 4:30 then. Okay.
All right. All right. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much, Rajiv.
Hey, thank you.
All right. Have a good day. Okay. Bye bye.
You too. Bye.
Bye.